What's going on, guys? Today's video we're going to be going over a previous video and like answering some questions from that video that I've been getting a lot lately, mainly because the video is kind of confusing, and I'm referring to the should you delete your truck video. This video is just gonna like answer some questions that I've gotten through comments, and to just kind of clear up some things, give you more clarification as to what I'm talking about when I'm saying should you or shouldn't you delete your Chevrolet or Power Stroke or your Cummins. That video goes along the lines of all of these like 2,500, 3,500, 3/4 ton to 1 ton, even the 450s trucks. But to answer the question, like to completely answer the question, should you delete your truck? It is completely up to you. If you delete it, it's your truck, you own it, or you're paying the bill for it, you're financing it, and it's your choice if you want to delete it or not. I was just kind of giving you ideas as to if you wanted to delete your truck, what would happen, and the laws or the regulations that you would have to follow to go along with when you delete your truck, or if you decide to delete your truck. One of the questions I've seen is, should you do, or like, is an EGR delete good? Yes. In my opinion, EGR deletes are musts. The way the EGR works on these trucks is the soot coming from, on the Duramaxes, the soot from the passenger side, if you follow your passenger side manifold from the head, you'll follow it to the up pipe, and that up pipe has a second riser pipe, kind of like a little Y, and that up pipe on the passenger side, that little riser pipe where it Y's off, goes to your EGR cooler. Now what the EGR cooler does is it circulates coolant, and it cools the exhaust gases as the exhaust gases are getting recirculated back into the intake manifold. That's basically the whole like thing of what EGR is, what EGR stands for. EGR stands for exhaust gas recirculation system. But it is very good, and it will save your engine, whether it's a Duramax, a Power Stroke, or a Cummins, to do an EGR delete, or even now I've seen complete. Like if you have to stay within, if you're running U.S. DOT numbers, Department of Transportation numbers, if you have numbers on the side of your truck because you're hauling for a business that you own or work for, best thing is, if you're afraid that the stock EGR cooler is going to go out, is to get an upgraded EGR cooler. These are about the same price, maybe a little cheaper than doing a complete EGR delete, but still you get a little bit better benefits, because you're able to, it's got bigger cooling fins inside, and allows more coolant to flow through that cooler, rather than the stock from the factory EGR cooler that's a little restrictive and doesn't cool the exhaust gases enough. But should you do an EGR delete? Yes. It keeps the soot, keeps that hot soot from going back into your intake. It won't, because over time, the intake, with the amount of soot going back into the intake, over time that soot builds up on top of one another, kind of like, think of it like a clogged artery. Your intake is the is like your main artery, and over time, if you eat bad food and just build up cholesterol, you're going to end up building up a spot in your artery, and you could end up having a stroke or have to have a bypass surgery from having a heart attack. That's kind of like what it is with the intake, with excess soot getting built up into the intake manifold on these trucks. Over time, the amount of air going through the intake is going to narrow up because you're putting soot on top of soot on top of soot. Doing an EGR delete will completely get away with that soot buildup in the intake and will allow your engine to run much longer and happier. And in some cases, the EGR cooler itself can go bad and crack and leak coolant, and that's not good. So doing an EGR delete, definitely. Now DPF and SCR, selective catalyst reduction, and DPF, diesel particulate filter removal and delete, that is up to you. These newer systems, like with the newer, like I would say between like from a 2016 to current truck, they are really, like, I mean, I hate to use the word reliable when using the term, using the term reliable with talking about like a DPF or a selective catalyst reduction system, SCR, or the SCR system, because honestly they're not really all that reliable. But the technology that we have now in these new exhaust systems with the diesels, compared to like between 2008 and 2010, like your LMMs, your 6.4s, and the first generation of the 6.7 Cummins, those systems were not the greatest. The way that they would clean is on the Duramaxes and the 6.4s, they would load up 7 and 8, the back two cylinders on the back cylinder on the driver's side and the back cylinder on the passenger side, 7 and 8 cylinders with fuel, and burn off the hot exhaust gases that way. But in 2012 or 2011, I'm sorry, when the LMLs, the 6.7 Power Strokes, and the more updated 6.7 Cummins trucks in 2013 or 14 ended up getting this new stuff called diesel exhaust fluid, and that is used to clean out the exhaust system on these trucks, on the trucks that are equipped with DPF filters. And it basically, what it is just a water urea mix that gets sprayed into the exhaust system, like past the turbo, usually right after the downpipe meets the existing exhaust, meets the exhaust system itself, right before the SCR or the DPF. It'll squirt using an injector, squirt the diesel exhaust fluid into the system to clean out the soot buildup, as well as your truck will still go into regen, but it'll help keep the system clean as well. So it's a nice little system. I mean, all these manufacturers did their homework and understood what was going on with what was going on with everything, and how to keep everything clean and whatnot, going through the regulations that's needed for the Tier 4 regulation. But in reality, doing a DPF delete, it's up to you. It's your truck. You do what you want to with your truck. I'm not going to be the one that tells you you should delete your truck. I'm not going to be the one that tells you not to delete your truck. It's your truck, but ultimately the DPF system is going to need to be serviced at some point in its life, and that service is not cheap. So you're looking at like a $2,500 exhaust can filter right there in the exhaust. So if your DPF goes out around 100,000 miles, or it goes out in 200,000 miles or 300,000 miles, you're gonna have to spend $2,500, if not more, to get that system replaced if you decide to keep it on. So to me, it's a little bit cheaper. If you ask me, I would delete my truck if I personally owned a LMM up Duramax, or a 6.4 up Power Stroke, or a 6.7 up Cummins, like from 07.5 up on the Cummins. I would personally delete the truck. That's just me though. You decide if you want to delete your truck or not. But personally, I would. I'd rather spend $1,200, $1,300 on tunes and exhaust than spend $2,500 on a new DPF filter when the old one fails and has to be replaced because it's not getting cleaned out. And with the truck with the 07.5 Cummins up, or 07.5 to 2010, 2011 Cummins, and the LMMs and the 6.4s, I highly recommend deleting those trucks, just because it is just because the way the regen works in those trucks, and it can get stuck in regen mode. So anyways guys, that's the video, just giving a little bit of clarification on the should you delete your truck video, because I've been seeing questions on the comments as to as to like if they can get some more clarification. So anyways, y'all take it easy. If you haven't already, like the video, please subscribe for more content. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day.